Hey everybody, welcome into Folklore and Flourish. You're here on April 19th over at Blue Box 29. You're here with Jane, Mark, and Mark's mustache, who's going to introduce himself today.
Well, first off, how dare you point at the date while I'm here? This Maya.
You've been carrying enough burdens on your face, so I just figured I'd do something than just sit here. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, so wink it up. Anyways, I
You're
decided.
not embarrassing when
Are you?
Go
Yes,
ahead and tell us about your mustache now, good sir.
So it's getting pretty fluffy. And as you know, I'm trying to grow my hair out. And I was just a scruffy, gruffy beggar. And I mean, there's a time and a place, but I also like to look clean. Well, I've been playing around with my mustache lately because it's growing a little bit, but it was all filled in, so it wasn't really defined. You could kind of see it. So I was like, I'm gonna clean up because I wanted to make a video for my QHHT yesterday. And in doing so, while I was shaving, I was like, you know what? Let's give it some separation and glory. Folded it up and I just took it down, cut it up the best I could. I'm by any means, but I give it my best shot. So yeah, this is my own trim job.
Like it. I'm a fan of the mustache. Let me know your take. What are your guys' favorite mustaches? But how do you pronounce it?
I like that video
Mustachio.
where it's like Neil Patrick Harris and
Oh, and he's changing all the mustaches. That's not fun to do it.
not Jimmy. No, 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 no. It's a movie and it's the Seth MacFarlane and it's like an old Western and they're singing about mustaches.
Oh my gosh, why have I seen that? Seen that scene with you?
It's freaking so funny. And now that I got one, I feel like that needs to be a cut scene to like right here. If I know how to edit, I would put that in right here, like in this scene.
Yeah, we just
And be like,
we
and then be
can't
like, and welcome back.
copyright.
Right.
We can maybe just post a picture of
Or you can, yeah, you can't do the sound. Man, see, I don't understand this stuff.
it.
I'll figure it
Anyway,
out. Anywho's,
you're here with us today on April 19th. Today is all about the chase. So we're in the month of Hidden and Fey Worlds, and this is week 3, so we're in the week of the danger. So I think the last time you were here to see some of the stuff in the other realms, but now we're in the danger zone. Yeah. So today is all about the chase. I was excited to bring you in because he's had like some creepy things out there. Okay. But with the chase, our theme is being hunted. So we are being hunted. And we're going to look at that through 4 folklore stories today. It's going to come through Germanic, Slavic, Filipino, and Canadian Algonquin tribes. So we'll see you after these 4 stories. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1, The Wild Hunt. Riders of the Relentless Sky. Within the shadowed forests and the storm-laden skies of Germanic folklore, the legend of the wild hunt emerges as one of the most haunting expressions of the theme of being hunted, perfectly embodying the lesson that the wild tests survival and the courage to confront fear. Passed down through centuries of oral tradition across Germany and broader northern Europe, the wild hunt describes a spectral procession of ghostly riders, hounds, and supernatural beings that sweep across the night sky during storms or the dark months of winter, signaling both omen and pursuit. Often led by a formidable figure, such as Woden or Odin, the Norse and Germanic god associated with wisdom, war, and the liminal spaces between life and death. The hunt is said to pursue lost souls, oath breakers, or those unfortunate enough to cross its path. Witnesses who encountered the hunt were believed to face dire consequences. They might be carried away into the spirit realm, compelled to join the spectral riders, or left with lingering misfortune. In some regional variations, the hunt also served as a test of moral character, sparing those who demonstrated humility or reverence while punishing the arrogant or reckless. The imagery of the wild hunt is both terrifying and awe-inspiring, with thunder interpreted as the pounding hooves of spectral forces and howling winds echoing the cries of ghostly hounds. This phenomenon was often associated with liminal times such as the Yuletide season, or Samhain-like traditions, while the boundary between the living and dead was believed to thin. For Argarian communities, the legend provided a framework for understanding the unpredictable forces of nature, reinforcing respect for the wilderness and the unseen powers that governed it. Those who heard the hunt were advised to seek shelter, lie flat upon the ground, or show signs of submission, symbolizing the necessity of humility in the face of overwhelming natural and supernatural forces. Symbolically, the wild hunt represents the experience of being pursued by forces beyond one's control, whether external dangers, internal fears, or the inevitability of mortality. The relentless riders serve as metaphors for the trials that test human resilience, urging individuals to confront rather than flee from the challenges that shape their destiny. Odin's role as leader of the hunt further deepens this symbolism, as he embodies both destruction and wisdom, suggesting that survival is not merely a matter of physical escape, but of spiritual transformation and insight. Encounters with the hunt often result in profound change, reinforcing the idea that facing fear can lead to heightened awareness and personal growth. Culturally, the legend of the wild hunt has influenced literature, art, and folklore throughout Europe, appearing in medieval chronicles, romantic era poetry, and modern fantasy narratives. Despite regional variations, the core elements of pursuit, judgment, and transformation remain consistent, reflecting a shared human fascination with the unknown and the instinctual drive for survival. Ultimately, the wild hunt stands as a powerful reminder that the wilderness, both literal and metaphorical, tests the strength and character of those who encounter it. In alignment with the theme of April 19th, the story affirms that while fear may pursue us, survival depends upon awareness, humility, and the courage to endure the chase, transforming terror into wisdom and resilience. Story 2, Leshy, the hunter of the living forest. Within the deep and ancient forests of Slavic folklore, the enigmatic figure of the Leshy stands as both guardian and pursuer, embodying the theme of being hunted and reinforcing the lesson that the wild tests survival. Rooted in the mythological traditions of Eastern Europe, particularly in regions of Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and Poland, the Leshy is a powerful forest spirit who governs the animals, trees, and unseen pathways of the woodland realm. Often depicted as a towering humanoid figure capable of changing size at will, sometimes as tall as the forest canopy, and at other times small enough to blend into the undergrowth. The Leshy possesses the uncanny ability to shapeshift into animals, mimic human voices, or assume the appearance of familiar individuals, making encounters with him both disorienting and perilous. His skin is frequently described as bark-like, his hair and beard composed of moss or leaves, and his eyes glowing with the quiet intelligence of the forest itself, symbolizing his intrinsic connection to the natural world. Travelers who venture too deeply into the woods risk drawing the attention of the Leshy, particularly if they show disrespect towards nature by hunting excessively, cutting trees without reverence, or failing to observe traditional customs meant to honor the forest. In many tales, the Leshy delights in leading wanderers astray, causing them to lose their sense of direction, wander in circles, or hear deceptive echoes that lure them deeper into the wilderness. Hunters are especially vulnerable, as the Leshy may conceal game, imitate the cries of animals, or transform into a majestic stag to tempt pursuit, only to reveal his true nature once the hunter has become hopelessly lost. While these encounters can be terrifying, they are not always malevolent. In some traditions, the Leshy acts as a moral arbiter, punishing greed and arrogance while aiding those who approach the forest with humility and respect. Offerings of bread, salt, or tobacco were historically left at the forest's edge as gestures of goodwill, acknowledging the Leshy's dominion and seeking his protection. Symbolically, the Leshy represents the untamed intelligence of the natural world and the psychological experience of being pursued by one's own fears when navigating the unknown. The sensation of being hunted in these narratives often reflects the vulnerability humans feel when removed from the safety of familiar environments, emphasizing the importance of awareness, adaptability, and reverence for the forces that sustain life. Unlike predators driven solely by instinct, the Leshy embodies a conscious and discerning presence, suggesting that survival in the wild depends not only on physical endurance, but also on ethical conduct and spiritual attunement. His role as both hunter and guardian underscores the dual nature of the wilderness as a space of danger and transformation, where those who confront their fears may emerge with deeper wisdom and respect for the balance of life. Culturally, the legend of the Leshy has endured through centuries of Slavic storytelling, influencing literature, folklore collections, and artistic representations that celebrate the mystical relationship between humans and the forest. The Leshy's presence reinforces traditional ecological values, reminding communities of their responsibility to live in harmony with the environment. Ultimately, the story of the Leshy affirms that the experience of being hunted is not solely a confrontation with external threat, but also an invitation to recognize the intelligence and sanctity of the natural world. In alignment with the theme of April 19th, the Leshy teaches that survival arises from humility, awareness, and the willingness to respect the unseen forces that govern the wilderness, transforming fear into a pathway toward understanding and resilience. Story 3: The Aswang, Predator of the Night. Within the rich and diverse tapestry of Filipino folklore, the Aswang stands as one of the most feared and enduring supernatural figures, perfectly embodying the theme of being hunted and the lesson that the wild tests survival. Rooted in pre-colonial animistic beliefs and later shaped by centuries of oral storytelling across the Philippine archipelago, the Aswang is not a single creature but a collective term encompassing a variety of shape-shifting beings, including vampires, ghouls, witches, and viscera-sucking monsters, such as a manananggal. By day, the Aswang often appears as an ordinary member of the community, quiet, unassuming, and undistinguishable from neighbors. Yet by night, it transforms into a relentless predator, slipping through the darkness in search of human prey, particularly feared for its appetite for vulnerable individuals, especially pregnant women and children. The Aswang is said to use an elongated, proboscis-like tongue to siphon life from its victims, while the eerie sound of the tick-tick bird is believed to signal its presence. Paradoxically, the closer the sound of the tick-tick, the farther away the creature is thought to be, a deceptive auditory illusion that heightens the terror of the hunt and reflects the Aswang's cunning nature. Encounters with the Aswang often unfold within the liminal spaces of rural villages, dense forests, and shadowed coastlines, where the boundary between the familiar and the unknown becomes perilously thin. Communities developed numerous protective practices to guard against his predation, including the use of garlic, salt, blessed objects, and traditional weapons such as a buntag pagi, a whip fashioned from the tail of a stingray believed to possess apotropaic properties. Vigilance and communal solidarity were essential for survival, as neighbors would gather to watch over the vulnerable during the night, reinforcing the collective resilience of the community in the face of unseen danger. In some narratives, individuals who suspected an Aswang within their midst would employ rituals or tests to reveal the creature's true nature, underscoring the tension between trust and suspicion that accompanies the fear of being hunted by an entity capable of blending seamlessly into human society. Symbolically, the Aswang represents the pervasive anxiety surrounding hidden threats in the instinctual human fear of predation from within one's own community. Unlike many mythological hunters that dwell solely in remote wilderness, the Aswang's ability to assume human form emphasizes the psychological dimensions of the chase, where danger arises not only from external forces, but also from the uncertainty of identity and intention. This duality reflects broader cultural themes of vigilance, moral awareness, and the necessity of communal bonds in ensuring survival. The act of being hunted in these tales serves as a metaphor for confronting the unknown aspects of existence, urging individuals to cultivate awareness, courage, and mutual support in the face of adversity. Culturally, the legend of the Aswang has persisted as a significant element of Filipino identity, influencing literature, film, and contemporary storytelling while continuing to convey moral and social lessons. Its endurance reflects the adaptability of folklore in addressing evolving societal concerns, from the protection of family and community to the navigation of fear and uncertainty. Ultimately, the Aswang embodies the relentless forces that test human resilience, reminding us that survival depends not only on physical defenses, but also on the strength of communal unity and the courage to confront hidden dangers. In alignment with the theme of April 19th, the tale affirms that the experience of being hunted can awaken deeper awareness and solidarity, transforming fear into a catalyst for collective strength and endurance. Story 4: The Wendigo, Hunter that Hunts the Soul. Within the sacred storytelling traditions of the Anglo-Kwan speaking peoples of North America, the legend of the Wendigo emerges as a powerful and cautionary narrative that embodies the theme of being hunted while exploring the profound psychological and spiritual dimensions of survival. Passed down through generations among communities such as the Ojibwe, Cree, and Innu, the Wendigo is not merely a monster of the wilderness, but a deeply symbolic representation of imbalance, insatiable hunger, and the consequences of moral transgression. Often associated with the harsh winters of the northern forests, the Wendigo is described as a gaunt, emaciated being with desiccated skin, stretching tightly over its bones, glowing eyes, and an insatiable appetite for human flesh. In some traditions, it is depicted as towering and skeletal, while in others, it retains a more human form, emphasizing its origin as a person who has succumbed to desperation or spiritual corruption. The transformation into a Wendigo is typically linked to acts of cannibalism during times of extreme famine, or to an overwhelming greed that consumes the individual's humanity, illustrating the belief that moral imbalance can manifest as a relentless and predatory force. Encounters with the Wendigo are characterized by an overwhelming sense of pursuit, as the creature is believed to stalk travelers through the silent, snow-covered forests, its presence heralded by chilling winds and an eerie stillness that precedes its approach. The terror associated with the Wendigo lies not only in its physical threat, but also in the psychological dread of becoming the hunted, or worse, becoming the hunter oneself. In many narratives, the Wendigo possesses supernatural speed and endurance, allowing it to pursue its victims across vast distances, symbolizing the inescapable nature of unchecked desire and fear. Traditional stories often emphasize the role of spiritual leaders or healers who confront the Wendigo through ritual, wisdom, and communal support, restoring balance and protecting the community from its destructive influence. These accounts underscore the importance of collective responsibility and moral integrity in ensuring survival within the unforgiving environment of the northern wilderness. Symbolically, the Wendigo represents the danger of excess, isolation, and the loss of connection to community in the natural world. Unlike many mythological hunters that originate outside the human sphere, the Wendigo's transformation from human to monster serves as a potent reminder that the greatest threats may arise from within. The sensation of being hunted in these tales reflects the internal struggle against fear, greed, and despair, suggesting that survival depends not only on physical resilience, but also on the preservation of ethical and spiritual balance. The winter landscape in which the Wendigo dwells further reinforces this symbolism, representing both the external challenges of nature and the internal desolation that accompanies moral disintegration. Culturally, the legend of the Wendigo holds deep spiritual significance for Anglo-Quinn communities, functioning as a moral teaching that emphasizes the values of generosity, restraint, and communal interdependence. It is essential to approach these stories with respect, recognizing that they are not merely fictional tales, but integral components of living cultural traditions. Ultimately, the Wendigo serves as a powerful reminder that the experience of being hunted is intertwined with the necessity of maintaining harmony with oneself and with the community. In alignment with the theme of April 19th, the story affirms that the wild tests survival not only through external threats, but also through internal challenges that shape human character, emphasizing that true resilience arises from balance, compassion, and collective strength. Hey, everybody, welcome back in. You're here with Jane, and Mark is here with us today on April 19th. Today was all about the chase, and the theme was being hunted. So, I was really excited. I hope you enjoyed those 4 stories. I wanted to record this earlier, but I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, wanted you to do it with me.
You would.
Yeah. And the lesson was the wild tests survival. So the wild tests our survival skills and mentality, our psychology, everything about it. So you see that through 4 stories today. The first one is the wild hunt. So the wild hunt, I was like heavily thinking of nearly headless Nick off of Harry Potter. Right now, they're always going on a headless hunt, but he's not part of it because he's only nearly headless. But this one, the wild hunt, was just anyone could have crossed paths with it and possibly joined. It didn't matter in terms of whether you were decapitated or how you died or not. But what was the thing that I
That's the thing. Some of these stories, I wouldn't mind doing a live session reading, so we could talk about it as we read them.
maybe we do. We could do some of those.
Because some of these, I forget some of the points I want to talk about. Like, I'm thinking about like story 2. There was a point where I was like, "Ooh, I really like that part."
Yeah.
And I'm stuck on it, and then I freaking zone out for part of the story because I'm so fixated on that part that I want to talk about. So I lose myself sometimes when I listen to these stories. So you guys are witnessing, this is real life. This is what happens when I listen to it. So as I'm sitting here, we're having these conversations, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, now I remember.
I've been noticing that when I've read it more than once, and doing it for a second date, obviously I'm reading it, then listening to it and editing, then listening again. But when it's more than one day, it kind of sticks because I'm getting to the point now where we're getting 4 stories a day. We're all the way in April. So like I've had a lot of stories go through like my mind, and I've been really trying to be careful into not mixing them up or so that's a big thing. Yeah, that's a big thing where I'll say something and then I'm like, wait, am I getting this character and this character confused? I don't know. And it's kind of funny because then I think about it, I'm like, wait, it doesn't make sense because I'm thinking of the landscapes and like where they take place. So I can't remember what it was the other day, but I got like a West African, like a Nigerian one, and some sort of Canadian entity confused, like something along those lines, something up in Alaska maybe. But I was just like, wait, it's not the right environment for that. The Lady of the Lake or something. Because there were a few of those, like the one in Canada was the one I think that I did bring up, but I don't, still didn't look up the name. But with the Wild Hunt, something that I liked was that it serves the sentence where the relentless riders serve as metaphors for the trials that test human resilience, urging individuals to confront rather than flee from the challenges that shape their destiny. So I really liked with this one how they symbolize it's better to just deal with it once and to continue running, having fear make your decisions rather than your actual skill or your intellect or your courage. I mean, I think about it on a day to day. I mean, even when I walk outside or I go somewhere, I'm going to the mall, we have these preconceived notions of who people are before we even face them. We think everyone's out to get us almost, and as a female, I think it was a little bit worse for me, in the aspect of every male you moved away from. It wasn't anything other than that simple fact. But this one serves as a why keep worrying versus learn, adapt, how you can change how you interact with them and stuff. But
I feel that actually, just totally cut you off, but I totally feel that as a man, what you just said. I've seen women with their children or just women by themselves move away because I am a big guy. So I get it. Like I can be intimidating, but then you get to know who I am and you just realize I'm a big weirdo. So then you're like, why would I move away from that person? Like that person would protect me over anything, you know?
Right.
So, but it's like, I don't fault them for it because I look at that and it's, to me, it's sad when I see it. It's, it hurts my heart, honestly, because someone has hurt them. Someone has made them feel like they have to be like that. That's unfortunate. Nobody should have to walk outside their house, outside of their safe zone, and feel like they have to walk. That is a reality that I choose. I do not want. And I think we can get there vibrationally. We just got to raise it
Right.
to where we're not living in the yuck anymore.
Well, and I like how even in this story itself, it's saying, do I have the? It's saying, um, that there are possibilities that you could run into this hunt, run into things that they're not out there looking for you. But when you interact, destiny kind of changes, all that stuff changes. But I think it's interesting that it says they have a mission of who they're going after. So they're not intending on running into people left and right, but they take advantage when they do. They're aware of their circumstances even as they go. So it's like the chaos is intentional chaos. They don't know what it is yet, but when they start inquiring, like you said, getting to know somebody, that's when you figure it out. That's why I've stopped. But another point that I really like about the hunt is that the hunt is said to pursue lost souls, oath breakers, and those unfortunate enough to cross its path. So the oath breakers, thinking that if you don't live up to your word, you're going to be hunted down. That is pretty, I don't know, that's cool. Because if that were really something that happened, I think people would be a lot more cautious about the promises they do make. But then we would automatically feel safe to trust people.
That's my thing is I stopped making people. I chose to do that definitely at work because I had always been the I promise person because I followed through. So I could say I promise. And but then it came to a point where I was like, I don't even need to. There's no need for me to say something that I already know I'm going to do. So just trust my word. And I started becoming that more. And it was, why am I not seeing that from other people? And it
Right.
makes it stand out a lot more. When you choose to be a person of your word, you start to see the people that aren't. And it stands out more. And you get this weird feeling, like whether you see it or not, you just get the feeling that something's not lining up.
So then do they, I mean, this is kind of also like the Lord of the Rings a little bit. The people under the mountain that will be called upon by the sword.
Yeah.
They were oath breakers, but do they stay part of the what? Do they become part of the wild hunt? With now they are loyal people in the afterlife. They'll always serve this, and they have no choice. Or are they just taken out by the wild hunt? Because why would they bring in people that are betrayers?
Right.
So what do you think? Do you think that the oath breakers that they'll find, do you think those are people that join, or is it more of the lost souls and the wanderers that join to take out the oath breakers? Because they're another casualty of someone not fulfilling their promise or their word.
So I think, okay. So what I believe would be a possibility in all of this would be if you are out doing something and you need to be held accountable, I believe in whatever realm you go to, in my perception of how reality works, you would have already signed up knowing that you want to go learn this lesson, however that is, and you would have your few people that you choose, souls, whatever, to sign up to help you in any way that you needed. So it could be somebody coming to whoop, some sense into you on either side, on the positive or negative side, whatever side they need to be on. It doesn't matter. They signed up to do this. Like, truly believe all this that we're doing as a game. I really do. And I think we can defeat it and be better at it and change it for the better, but only not in a selfish way, though. I truly don't think you can do it to be selfish. But if you're doing it for the better good of all, I really believe that you can change a lot of things for the better. But I think all of this kind of plays into it. So
these people all chose to.
these people chose that destiny.
But then I think they didn't. Then I think that the Outbreakers won it, joined the hunt. Because that's a whole different destiny, you know? They chose to be people that didn't live up to their.
Not necessarily. So that's the part that you got to think of. We don't know. Did they break that oath and they weren't supposed to? And that's something they're coming to do.
And that's where the supernatural steps in and goes,
Yeah,
oops.
to not that oath. So one of the things I've seen, and this is a sensitive subject, but it's the one of someone that unfortunately ends their life too soon in any whatever way. So in the reality or realm of reincarnation, when you come back the next time at that around that same time, they say that your soul feels that and you get that same urge or feeling or desire. So like with all this, I wonder if it kind of plays the same type of thing. So when you have an oath to keep and you're in whatever this reality is and you don't keep it, so then you come back the next time and then you feel it again,
Right.
you know? Or are you one of the ones that are there to try to stop you from breaking that oath? You know, I think there's just a whole bunch of different ways that this could play out.
100%. I like that. I like the way you put that. But the next three aren't just like Wild Hunt. The Wild Hunt was like a group, right? The next three are almost like individual entities coming. Yes, the Aswang spirits, there's more than one, but there's more than one Wendigo, there's more than one Leshy. What did you think about the idea that the forest is so much alive that whether it's a creature, whether it's a trees, whatever it may be, something living is out there waiting for us as humans to fail or to give up? What do you think about that idea?
I just
Associated with forests.
like one thing, like if you go out into nature, like you can, nature breathes. Nature is like not just the animals, like the trees are alive. They talk to each other. There is the fungus that makes everything connected. So energetically, I mean, we can only see 30% of everything that's out there. So do I believe that there's other things? Yeah, I'm 1,000,000% in this reality. So us talking about stuff like this, I think if you go out there, you could feel this if you really get in there. In the second story, the one that could change size and shape, it kind of made me think of like that wolf thing where it was like bark, you know, and that the Lady of the Water thing that we watched. But the fact that this spirit could grow to the size of a canopy and be the size and just kind of looking down, like that is so cool. I would love to see and or be that entity, you know.
Well, it's almost like when we feel things that don't make sense.
Yeah.
That's why.
Right.
Because it doesn't make sense to us because it's operating in a supernatural, a different physical realm where it can do those things. And yeah, so the first one serving as like guardian and spirit, right? And the second one being spirit, or the third story as well. They're spirits, right? So they symbolize hidden danger and communal resilience. So both of those emphasize being united, right? The fourth one does as well. But these are mainly saying being united and respecting what's around you, like understanding how to live around you and what is your communal stuff. But I like that the second and third, it doesn't matter what we think the forest wants, it has to speak for itself.
Yeah.
So I like how we may go, oh yeah, you can't cut into trees or throw trash around. There would be a lot of things. You walking in when you shouldn't is a big, huge, I mean, sign of disrespect. So it doesn't matter if we're in the Green Party or big ecological spokespersons or whatever it may be. The forest has its own spokesperson. It's kind of that subtle reminder of speak only for what we can speak on, our experiences. Because everything else speaks and acts on its own experiences as well. Whether we understand it or not, it is intentional. And the fourth story goes right into our choice as a human. So being hunted by the darkest parts of ourselves, the things that, the unspeakable things we do for survival, regardless of what survival looks like. So it was kind of interesting because story 2 and 3, the creatures could destroy them, hurt them. The one had the long tongue, like probe like tongue. Made me think of the creatures in Transformers 2, the little robot they put down Sam's body.
Oh yeah.
That's a little tongue like I pictured. And they take the life out of you. The Wendigo, you can become that icy cold skeletal like entity where you thrive in just cannibalism and the actual darkest parts of everything. So you do the best in the cold, but that means you'll never get the sense of warmth. You'll never get that community. You are isolated because you chose this. Because these are choices people don't make for a reason, right? At what cost? Kind of. And the cost is complete solitary.
There is a place for everything. So there is a so that had to happen, whatever in whatever way that was.
So the cultural significance for it is that it symbolizes the dangers of greed, isolation, and moral imbalance, serving as a teaching story that it reinforces the importance of community, generosity, and spiritual harmony.
It's so okay, so it's like a Scrooge story, if you think about it. So they're like, no, if you choose to not care about this community and you choose that greed, this will be your fate. This is what's going to happen to you.
You are seen as a monster in one way or another.
Because you are. Like in the communities that you and I envision of like helping grow, a person that chooses to not help that community thrive or at least just be to thrive or survive even would be a monster. You know, if you are choosing to not help, you're hurting. Right. I believe, you know, you're not just going to sit there like a king or a queen with your feet up and get what you want. No, you're going to help. You're going to be a part of this. And a lot of those cultures way back when were like that. And if you weren't, you are now a monster. So I like that.
Well, it's like when we see that gross side of people and how they physically, we view them differently.
Yeah.
Because we've seen that side, and for whatever reason, they look different.
Yeah.
Because they acted so, but now we're ingrained with that. But imagine that's all you see all the time. But that to the core, to the worst aspect of that. Other than just some
shallow.
Yeah.
Where he sees the insides and they're like they look like the one looks like this evil witch or whatever. It's like representation of that.
So with those four, the daily thread with the chase is that the wild hunt thunders across the sky, pursuing souls through storm and shadow. The Leshy leads wanderers deeper into the forest, living maze. The Aswang stalks the night, hidden among the familiar, and the Wendigo moves through winter's silence, driven by insatiable hunger. Each hunter reflects the fears that tested human endurance. Each pursuit reveals the necessity of awareness and respect. Survival arises from courage, humility, and connection to community. What chases us becomes powerless when we choose to face it. So again, all of these things, yes, there are beings where, well, what would you do if you faced them, right? But the reality is, and what they're saying is, that's the point, though. Would you rather become these monsters eventually, or would you rather be the one that turned and faced them and said, no? Like, you can have the body, but you'll never take my soul. You'll never take what comes beyond it. And like the Leshy leading people into the woods, like the arrogance of, oh, well, I know this is what it must be when we really don't know all the time. That's what that one kind of was remember who you are. and that this isn't meant to be something you can read and understand perfectly.
Yeah, that's a thing too. Like with my QHHT thing, things happen for a reason, but also you can make the wrong decisions. Free will is a thing where it can lead you down the wrong path. And I've seen that in one of yours lifetimes where one decision that you made, and it was something where it was like, man, that's oops, but now try again type of thing. So it's just really cool. And this plays right into these stories as well.
It's face it now or face it eventually.
Yeah. When are you going to learn?
Yeah.
When are you going to learn? Okay, not this time, I guess.
Well, I like the idea too that we don't really learn a lesson until we've been tested with it again.
Yeah.
Like we can say we've known all this stuff, but unless we've lived it where we did the different decision or we just thought differently.
Think about it. Look at what happens in your life right now on a daily or a monthly or a yearly. Look at the things where you're like, man, why does this always happen to me? It's happening to you for a reason. It's happening to you because it is a lesson that you are not learning yourself. You think you are, but you're not, I promise. And then you're calling it back because the more you concentrate on an energy, the more it's going to come back to you. So you need to make sure you're not concentrating on this thing that you're always worried about because the more you put that out there, the more it's going to come to you. That's just the way energy works. Doesn't matter if it's good, bad, or indifferent.
That's just a karmic wheel.
Wherever you put your energy, that energy is going to come right at you. And if you're thinking of it of like the whole reverse psychology thing, no, that's how it's going to come out. It's going to come out exactly how you're saying it. So
Right.
if you're like, man, I really don't like this, then it's like that thing that you don't like, it's going to just keep coming, unfortunately. Think of things you like, and then that will start coming more.
Right. So, with all four of those stories, with the chase, being hunted, and the wild test survival, the question of the day is what follows me in fear? So, what follows me in fear? So, what are the things that are chasing us that we don't want to address or that we're purposely not facing? And if we can, how do we face them? How do we turn around and get the courage to turn around? But our activity today is that we're going to walk briskly for a minute, feeling breath pulse in the ground beneath us. So that power walk for a full minute, and then just truly feeling the breath, the ground, the pulse of our hearts as we go. Like how you said, you were breathing with your heart. So kind of feeling that sensation in the pulsing and all of that. And then the final thought is that we're going to meet fear with awareness rather than flight. Being aware that we might die is one of the reasons, or one of the ways I think that we do conquer fear, is because once we've acknowledged the facts that there are cases where this might be it,
Yeah.
and we've internally decided and it's worth it for whatever reason it may be, it's worth it. We've kind of conquered the fear. The fear's gone. Because, okay, the body's going, this being has accepted it. They're going in with the understanding that there's no point of having expectations. So it could go extreme, extreme. So that's kind of cool. So we're going to sit with it and we're going to meet fear with that understanding and awareness.
Well, I think that like what was going through my head as you were saying that is all these people like because I've seen a bunch of the clips pop up or the headlines like this person, met their fate while they were doing this or this or this. And it's always these extreme sport people, right? All I was thinking is when that time comes, I don't believe you're alone. I believe someone else is there with you. And they're just like, pull you out, so you're not suffering on these extreme big falls or whatever. And they're like, man, like, oh, I messed up there, didn't I?
Right.
Oops. I don't think it's as big as like so many people put a big frowny face on it, but they went out doing what they loved to do. So why are you upset about it? They met a challenge they couldn't do. So cool.
And they're going into these situations with,
They know.
yeah,
They know. And they get to go be with God or whatever you believe they. So why would you be
It's
mad?
just what they said. They were living the life that they wanted. They weren't blind to the fact that, well, if you don't get this wrong, right, you might get hurt. No, if it's not perfect, we're getting hurt. But in order for it to be perfect, you have to completely be in the flow, which means you can't be afraid. Or if you are afraid, you acknowledge it and say, okay, let's go anyways. But yeah, I'm glad that you were here today, tomorrow. But with all that today was the chase, and we're ending we are reaching the end of week 3 of the dangers. We only have 2 more days. We have the stand and then the healing, the end of the danger. So with all of that in mind, thank you guys for joining us over Folklore and Flourish, and we'll see ya.